everyone, and welcome to Grünstadt episode 1. So I have a few things to say before we get started, so if you're not interested in this, like it seems like a lot of you aren't, judging by the amount of people that were complaining in the road layouts video, you can skip to the time as stated in the top right corner, so yeah, have fun with that. So first of all, it's been 3 weeks since I made my last video. I got back from Europe and it was great. So for some reason, every time a City Skylines YouTuber takes a break, they come back with a whole bunch of ideas and inspiration. I don't know what it is, but I have a lot of things that I want to do. So what we're going to be doing is sort of a bit of a city overhaul, I guess is the best way to put it. We're going to be redoing a lot of things. For example, in this episode, we're going to be focusing on sort of redoing or revamping the downtown area while trying to maintain a similar skyline. And the next few episodes, we're also going to be redoing some systems. For example, we're covering trams also today. We're sort of replacing buses. I never liked buses that much. I just had them. We're going to be redoing the metro system one episode, as well as the railway system. So there's a lot of things that still need to be done. And also, if you might have noticed, the channel has undergone a bit of a redesign. New theme, sort of sticking with like a purple to magenta sort of gradient. I don't know. I felt like it was due for a bit of a redesign because the theme I had now was a bit crowded almost. I don't know. I didn't like it. I like this a lot more. Let me know what you think. Also, we have just two series now. We have the airport GSX, and then we have the actual city Grünstadt. So I don't know, I felt like we had too many tiny little series, like city ideas. I still don't know why I made that. So it's just going to be the two now, just to keep things organized. Technically, Grünstadt started with the road layouts video, which I hate, by the way. I hate that video. It's got so many views, but I don't even like it. So yeah, let's get started. So right off the bat, there's something that you just might notice. There's just a tiny little chance. And it's that the entire downtown is gone. It's just disappeared. The Illuminati took it. I'm kidding. No, I took Move It and I deleted everything. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sticking to something more organized, a larger grid, and try to reduce the number of streets. That might seem a bit counterintuitive, but we're making every street a small 4-lane road from network extensions too. So yeah, that actually works out pretty nice. And we're trying this thing called Super Blocks, which I think it was in Barcelona that they're trying it out. And it's basically you have a 3x3 9-block grid, and you have a whole bunch of one-way roads going in a certain orientation, and it reduces traffic but promotes pedestrian usage or something like that. Anyways, I wanted to see if it would work, and it does. It works out pretty good. And I don't remember the exact pattern, but you'll see it here pretty soon. Also, I decided not to include me deleting everything just because I actually have a lot of footage, and in the end I had to scrap a lot of it because I'm trying to keep it around 15 minutes, and if I didn't delete everything it would be like 40 minutes. So yeah, but anyway, it's deleting stuff. It's not even that important. Now, for whatever reason, when I first built the city, I didn't stick to like the grid and 45-degree angles, so I have to switch the angles up here and make it sort of switches to a different grid, kind of, you could see. Basically, I don't know why I did that, but it's weird, and I would change it if I could, but I can't. So yeah, here I'm trying out the whole super grid thing. This is where I started, and it's going to become, a whole bunch of them are going to become 4-way one-ways. Not 4-way, sorry, 4-lane one-ways. We have a lot of lanes, which means a lot of traffic capacity. And it's good because we're going to be introducing tram lines. And it's going to be a 2-lane street that also shares tram tracks on those 2 lanes. And after doing that, I can say that the traffic is still fine. I thought that it would be pretty bad, introducing those smaller lane streets. But it actually works out in the end, and I think it's because of these higher capacity one-way roads. And yeah, so if you're interested in super blocks, you can search that up. There's a really good video by, I think it was Vox on it. And this is the pattern. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So yeah. And as you can see, I left the parking lot there, and I don't know, it was one of the first sort of like fully custom things I did in the city, so I wanted to leave it. And we're starting with actually putting buildings down. So I have to admit, I did kind of get inspired by Flux's Avalon series, and him, you know, clipping all the buildings together, making this sort of massive, super mega city. I don't know how to describe it. It's really cool, and I really liked it. And I thought I'd try that, you know, when redoing my downtown. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm clipping these, you know, big buildings, the Gecko Corporation buildings, into the Columbia Center. And you'll see me clipping a whole bunch of buildings. You'll get the gist of it. I'm not going to include me clipping every single building together, but it turns out pretty nice in the end. And it looks like a proper, you know, big city block. And you can see over here I actually made this sort of like big palette of buildings that I wanted to use, and I go over there and I just sort of pick the ones I want. And something that you're probably going to notice quite a bit throughout is that I'm using quite a lot of Vladilex's, I think that's how you say it, Vladilex's buildings, Russian contemporary buildings in this city, because they look really nice, they're modern, and they fit the theme I'm going for, and they're really modular too. Like, you can easily clip a whole bunch of them together and it'll look right. And so yeah, they're really nice, and they're sort of like nice and colorful, which is pretty cool. And this is sort of the finished city block, you know, after doing everything. I do go and detail a lot of things eventually, but I couldn't fit it into this episode. And then I keep going, I expand and everything, and it looks pretty good, I think. And the skyline, as you can see, is still pretty nice. Now, one of the next things I did, and that I wanted to do soon, was the metro system. I knew that I wanted to incorporate more metro, since we removed almost all bus lines, which is the main form of transport that people were using to get around the city. We introduced trams, that's great, but I also wanted a metro line, because we have like one or two above ground ones, and we're going to be next episode is going to be a metro overhaul. I mean, there's a mod for that, but yeah, we're going to be redoing the metro system. And so to plan for that, I put down this metro hub right, like, sort of in the center of things. And speaking of trams, I also put down a tram hub. So we're sort of planning in advance, and if you see any sort of empty spaces, it's probably because I didn't put down, probably because I'm going to have the metro line running through there, and it's elevated, so you can't really have anything there, or else it'll collide with that. And we're going to be planning around the metro line. So yeah, and then I'm upgrading a whole bunch of streets to these really nice elite tram tracks, and I'm not going to show all of it, I'm just showing the gist. And I had to stay away from the one-way streets, because I didn't want to mess around with that, you know, and those are the high-capacity streets, like I said. So we're going to be going around those with the tram track. And these are elite tram tracks, by the way. They're using Gerenable's mesh or whatever. And I think this is the neighborhood tram tracks. These are not by Gerenable, but they're also really good. They have trees, nice parking spaces, they look great, and so I wanted to use them. So I decided that the two lines that I'll be making, the tram lines I'll be making, for starters, they'll just be loops. So I have one that goes around the center, like the downtown area, and then I'm going to have one that sort of cuts into the more outskirts. And again, they're all using Gerenable's elite tram tracks, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. I think, well, I've already had a few cinematics of them, and there might be a few at the end. But yeah, and we're going to have more later on, because there's still a lot that needs to be done, especially with, like I said, those outskirts, the Grobel area where I zoned the buildings. That area needs a bit of tweaking, because it's very lazy how I did it. I zoned a grid. But yeah, so far so good. The bus usage went down, but I still am getting usage. But trams are now my most used form of transport, which is awesome. That was the goal, to get a lot of usage out of them. Now the actual rolling stock that I'm using, the actual trams, they are, I think they're Utrecht and Varioban, or Variobahn trams. They're European. I think they're German. I don't remember. But they look really nice, and I made sure that all the lines I have, even the one in Woodside that was using the Melbourne trams, they're all using them just for the sake of consistency. And they vary in sizes, you know, just for that sort of bit of added realism. Oh, and I wanted to also show this here, where I make these little, I don't show much of it, but I really like these shared one-way streets, where you have like one lane for cars, and it's like pedestrian and cyclists. It's really nice, they look really great, and yeah, so that's I use those a lot. And this is what the sort of city looks like after developing it for a while. You can see I have the tram lines in place, and you're gonna see the trams now sort of going around. But this is, yeah, so the segments of tram track in between roads, I decided to make them asphalt. I don't know, maybe they were roads before, or they just extended the road and added tram tracks. I don't know the exact history behind it. I saw it somewhere. I can't find any good references now, but I like how it looks, and I decided to incorporate that. And I decided I would also detail the areas with tram, you know, the tram lines. And I just added a whole bunch of decals and, you know, signs, and you'll see that pretty soon. So I'm not 100% sure if my sign placement is correct, but this is what makes sense to me, at least. I have the do not enter signs. You'll see me put those up in a second, and those are, I'm pretty sure those signs only apply to cars. So I put them so, you know, it shows cars not to enter, the tram only sections, and I also put down the tram lane thing on the ground. So let me know if I could improve on that, but I think I did it correctly. And I'm really happy with how this area turned out. Could probably still throw in a few planters, maybe, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. So this tram hub is actually a tram bus hub, which means there's also a bus terminal, and there's like, I think it's 6 or 5 stops for buses available. And I connected the 3 functional lines I have, not counting the ones I have in the airport for the service vehicles. And it's actually, it's working great. The people are taking the tram to the bus hub, and then from there they're going to the suburb or wherever they need to go. And so it's really good how it works together, the transit systems. You know, we have the usage for the tram, and then they're moving to the buses. So yeah, that's going pretty nicely. But we're still going to be fixing, or rather redoing, our other forms of transport. Next episode will probably be metro, and then after that we might have rail. So that's the end of this episode. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Please do let me know in the comments what you think of the redesign, because I like it, but I don't know if you like it. Next week is going to be GSX, episode of GSX, so just heads up for that. And if you'd like to support the channel, there's a new thing called memberships that I enabled, and it's a join button next to the subscribe button. And when you support the channel, it's like $4.99 a month. You get like exclusive badges, and it changes with how long that you've been supporting the channel. They're all up on the screen right now. You can see them. They change based on like certain durations. Exclusive live streams, which I am planning. I haven't live streamed before, so it's a thing that needs quite a bit of planning. And as well as some other things, which you can all see if you click it. It shows you all the perks you'll get. So yeah, see you next time.